is our object, and we call it S2 I'm here. The project, the object, is really for the use of the fishermen that we have seen at the Quai des Sodres, and it allows them to signal their presence at the shoreline. And they do this by switching on small LED lights that are there. So you see that that object is really quite discreet and subtle in its presence. And for us, this is also symbolically there for the fishermen. In our design process, it became we really arrived at that point where we saw that these fishermen are standing at the edge between the land and between the sea. And we tried really as a kind of material idea to work with that. But of course also it symbolizes the role of the fishermen at that edge and as a connection between the land, then generating food, as kind of to support themselves, sometimes economically, to connect, of course, with the environment, the health of the fish. And so we had this kind of line, this idea that as long as they're fishermen at the shoreline, there are also fish. And a second idea that we had is, of course, that these fishermen are also a community. Now they are kind of a community of solitary men standing along that edge. And during daytime that can be fine, and they turn their back to the rest of us, to the other humans. But then at nighttime, there is also some fragility there, because it can become, there are less tourists around, but there can be, it becomes concerned about their security and being attacked by criminals. So there is a sense at nighttime they need to be a bit stronger in their sense of community and look out for each other. So going to this object and enlightening it and showing at these different points that demonstrate their position at the shoreline, they can signal to each other where they are. They can kind of, come closer a little bit to each other. What you see at the edge, you see these LED lights, and they need to be activated. And in our, this is a prototype, so they are there for a moment and then they fade. Of course, in real life, they would be there for about 4 hours and then they would slowly fade out. So for the prototype, we have shortened that cycle so that you notice the whole functionality. And
well, and to activate
them.
Yeah, it's just a simple switch of 2 screws, and we're using the fisherman's tools to activate the legs. So so that's just an important aspect. So it's sort of secret. This weight here, this lead weight, is something that will activate our little switch that turns on the light. It can actually function too that a fisherman can say, hey, or the fisherman will know, like, I've already fished this area. So I wouldn't maybe bother going to this spot, right, because this has already been used today, in a sense, or not. And so so there's this kind of double thing of like that kind of functionality as well, and the security of knowing that other people are there with you when you're alone fishing.
So fishermen are at the border. This is the border between the land and the sea. It's also the border between the nature and society. So fishermen work as our mediators, connecting social practice to the nature.